I'm gonna be 100% here and say that I genuinely hate negativity.
I hate
Negativity. There's enough of that already on the internet, and complaining makes me feel like a chud. The last thing I want to do is be seen as one of those people on the internet who go on overly emotional rants about video games and crashes out. Now with that being said, I am gonna crash out.
I'll kill you!
What is Sony doing? Sony just had their bi-yearly disappointment showcase. Ever since the first real showcase of the PS5, where they showed off the look of the console, Sony has genuinely brought nothing to the table. I know it's a meme to be like, PS5 has no games, but we are 4 years into this console generation, and we have one game to show for it. Astrobot. Look at my little man go.
If you got no one just move, I want to see some movement.
Horizon Forbidden West remake, Last of Us again, and a $700 console where you can play these masterful games that were released nearly 10 years ago now. Not to mention the fact that almost every game they remastered and previewed for the PS5 Pro came out within the last 2 years. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth literally came out 8 months ago, dude. The people who never wanted to play these games in the first place aren't gonna pay $700 for a new console to play them on. People who already played these games aren't going to do that either, since there's literally not much of an improvement. Are the two new CEOs doing fucking Galaxy Gas? How do you make decisions this brain dead? Speaking of things being dead, Sony's push into the live service market has been one of the most abysmal things I've ever seen. I feel like Dante going through hell, except instead of looking down and seeing people boiling alive in liquid shit for all eternity, there's foam stars. Which honestly at this point might be worse. Other than Helldivers, what does Jim Ryan and his monolithic forehead have to show for it? I don't think there was a single person who cared about foam stars before or after it came out. Everyone knows what happened to Concord. Just like my little sister, everybody knew that shit was dead on arrival. And honestly, I feel the same about Marathon now. Bungie is literally 40% smaller than it was at the beginning of the year, all because their CEO spent $1 gazillion on classic cars. I don't know how to tell you this, bro, but Jeremy Clarkson isn't gonna fuck you, my guy. When the PS4 was in its 4th year of being available, we were reveling in masterpieces like Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, Gravity Rush 2, and we were promised Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Detroit Become Human, Death Stranding. But now, PlayStation has barely enough gas in the tank to shit out one decent exclusive every year. We got bangers like God of War 2018 2, Horizon Zero Dawn again, Last of Us 1 again, Concord for 12 days. Now, I gotta give it to my main man Astrobot, he's the go in every way, but even he couldn't hold up Sony from this colossal disappointment on his adorable shoulders. God, just thinking about how good we had it on the PS3 and 4 fills me with an indescribable sadness that even the strongest of substances can't mask. The worst thing to happen to Sony was Xbox completely flatlining in the console market. How the fuck do you acquire an incredible amount of developers only to drop to your knees and give Sony the old double-hander and say that Halo will be on PlayStation? Now, Sony has a big head because of this, thinking that they have the clout that Apple has where they can sell a PlayStation 5 Pro with no disc drive at $700. A pure slap to the face of anybody that was led to believe Sony would continue this wave of beauty. Now just a wave of mutilation where they dig up the corpses of games barely released a decade ago and give them a few brush taps of concealer to sell to players for $70, even though the original version is still playable on the PS5. Not to mention these games are playable on PC, meaning Sony only has 2 games currently that are only playable on PlayStation, Astrobot and Bloodborne. Bloodborne, I'm sorry. Sony has forgotten about you, my friend. Your excellence knows no bounds, and your legacy lives on in South Korean knockoffs involving that little Italian twink. I'm just bummed. Thanks for listening to my spew of pure emotional consciousness as you finish that Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Okay, bye.